She had only stopped for a moment to rest when she noticed a man sitting quietly in the corner of the street, his clothes worn out, his face tired, and his eyes filled with a kind of sadness that instantly touched her heart. As she walked closer, he quickly stood up, apologizing as if his very presence was a disturbance. She gently assured him that he wasn't bothering her at all and asked the simplest question, "Have you eaten anything today?" The man lowered his eyes and admitted he hadn't eaten for days. His voice was shaky, almost embarrassed, as he explained how he tried asking people for help but no one paid attention. She could feel the pain behind his words, the desperation of someone who had been invisible to the world for far too long. Without hesitation, she offered him the small amount of food she had with her, some fruit she had packed earlier. The man accepted it with trembling hands, whispering a soft thank you as if he wasn't used to kindness anymore. Wanting to help him feel more dignified, she handed him one of her late father's shirts, insisting it would protect him from the sun and make him feel a little better, and in that moment, the first spark of hope quietly returned to his life. As he slowly finished the food she'd given him, she sat beside him, wanting to understand more about the man behind the tired face. Gently, she asked how his life had taken such a painful turn. He took a deep breath before speaking, his voice soft, almost distant, as if he were replaying memories he wished he could forget. He told her that he had never known his biological parents and was raised by a loving adoptive couple who gave him everything: care, education, and the chance to dream. With their support, he studied hard and eventually became a lawyer, something he was once incredibly proud of. But life changed suddenly when his adoptive parents passed away. The grief was too much, and day by day he slipped deeper into loneliness. Depression swallowed him whole, and soon he lost his job, his home, and his sense of purpose. Listening to him, she felt a deep ache inside. This wasn't just a homeless man, this was someone who had once stood strong, someone who still carried knowledge and worth within him. She handed him some money with quiet encouragement, telling him she believed he could rebuild his life if he tried again. Sometimes all a broken soul needs is one person who believes in them. When she returned home that evening, her heart felt lighter, knowing she had helped someone who truly needed it. But the moment she stepped inside, her brother noticed the missing shirt and the money she had taken. His frustration was immediate. He raised his voice, asking why she would give away something that belonged to their late father, something they kept to remember him by. She tried to explain gently, but he was too overwhelmed by their own struggles to listen. Their mother was sick, medicine was expensive, and both of them were doing everything they could just to keep the house running. From his point of view, every little thing mattered, every shirt, every coin. He felt responsible for protecting what little they had left. She didn't argue. Instead, she quietly told him that the man she helped had nothing, not a home, not a family, not even a warm meal. She reminded him of what their mother used to teach them, that kindness is not only for the days when life is easy, but especially for the days when it isn't. Her voice trembled, not from regret, but from conviction. She knew she had done the right thing. Compassion is never wasted, not even when misunderstood. The tension in the house only grew heavier over the next few days as their situation worsened. Bills piled up on the table, medicines for their mother were running out, and despite trying everywhere, her brother still hadn't found a new job. They were counting every coin, stretching every meal, hoping something would change soon. But life wasn't giving them a break. One morning, just as they were helping their mother sit up in bed, a loud knock echoed through the house. It was the landlady, standing at the door with a firm, unyielding expression. She didn't waste a second before reminding them that 4 months of rent were overdue. They tried to explain, about the sickness, the job loss, the struggle, but she had heard too many excuses from too many tenants. She wanted the payment today, or the house emptied by noon. Her brother's shoulders slumped as if the world had crashed down on him. Their mother began to cry softly, worried not for herself but for what would happen to her children. She stood there helpless, realizing that no matter how hard they tried to stay strong, they were on the edge of losing everything they had left. And at times like these, life tests the strength of hope more than anything else. Just as the weight of the situation seemed impossible to carry, a calm voice came from behind them, asking what was going on. They turned to see a well-dressed man standing at the doorway, clean, confident, someone who clearly didn't belong to their world of worry. At first, they assumed he was a friend of the landlady or someone sent to hasten the eviction. But then he stepped closer, his eyes softening as he looked at the girl, as if recognizing her in a way she didn't recognize him. He listened quietly as the landlady repeated her demand for the overdue rent, explaining the exact amount they owed. Before anyone could react, the man reached into his pocket, pulled out a thick envelope, and handed it directly to her. The landlady checked the money, nodded, and walked away without another word. The house fell silent for a moment. The girl stared at him with confusion, trying to understand why a stranger would pay such a large amount for them. That's when he smiled gently and asked if she truly didn't remember him. And as he began to describe the day she had given a starving, broken man food and a shirt to wear, her eyes widened in shock. The man standing before them, stable, successful, transformed, was Kevin, the same man she had helped when he had nothing. He told her that her kindness had become the turning point of his life, the spark that pulled him out of darkness and pushed him to rebuild everything he had lost. Kevin's presence brought a calmness into the room that none of them had felt in days. As he finished explaining how her small act of kindness had changed the course of his entire life, he looked around at their worried faces and said he wasn't there only to pay their rent. He wanted to offer them something much more meaningful, a chance to stand back on their feet. He turned to her brother first, acknowledging how hard it must have been trying to carry the weight of the household alone. Then he told him that his law firm was growing, and he needed reliable people with integrity and compassion. He offered him a job, promising to train him and help him build a stable future. Her brother was stunned for a moment, the guilt of his earlier anger rising inside him. With a broken voice, he apologized to Kevin for misjudging him, admitting that he had allowed fear and stress to cloud his heart. Kevin accepted his apology without hesitation, reminding him that everyone makes mistakes, and what mattered was the willingness to grow. Then he looked at the girl, the one who began it all, and offered her a position as well, saying he wanted people like her by his side, people who believed in humanity even in their hardest moments. And just like that, the family who had been on the edge of losing everything suddenly found their lives turning toward hope again, proof that kindness has a way of circling back when you least expect it.